Storm blows through here in Oklahoma. I inevitably get calls from the media. What should folks do? And I often will tell the media, I will say the problem here is that after every bad storm comes bad actors. Let's talk about licensed versus unlicensed contractors. I want to talk about CIB,
Sure.
how to avoid bad actors, that type of thing.
Sure. So first of all, I'm going to raise my hand up, and I'm going to own this, and tell everybody, and most people, all of our clients, everybody in Oklahoma pretty much knows this. I blew north of the Red River about 16 years ago. Okay. So, if you want to use those ugly words of storm chaser or whatever, I was not a storm chaser.
You're from south of the Red River?
I came up
the tape.
here.
We're done.
I came up here literally at the request of one of my clients in North Texas to call on 4 people, and 3 of those 4 people became the nucleus of what became the company that you see today. Whenever there's a storm, you can drive down the street. I think the hailstorm last year was at September, October, and basically Northwest and then down through. That storm was an indictment of the roofing industry. Okay. Absolute indictment of the roofing industry. You could go into any street in Northwest Oklahoma City, Edmond area, and you could drive down the street and you would see license plate after license plate after license plate, and roofing companies that I've been here for 16 years in Oklahoma City, never heard of half of the names on the trucks or the vehicles. Okay. And that is very, very scary to me for consumers. All right. Because I know that unfortunately, the easy path in roofing is to do what's always been done. The easy path in roofing is to commoditize an asphalt shingle, and the only thing you have to compete on is price. That's the easy. That's why the majority of people do that. That's what happens after a storm. It's who's going to get there first, which I think, number one, that's offensive to me. The hail hadn't even melted and they're already banging on your doors. That's pretty offensive. And number 2, it's who's going to tell the biggest lie. And typically that big lie is going to be, oh, don't worry about your deductible. You're not responsible. We'll take care of that for you or whatever. And then who's going to offer the most on top of that? Who's going to give away the most? Okay. Who's going to give you the color TV set, or who's going to give you the free this, that, or the other, or whatever? And consumers unfortunately buy into that. Okay, they feel pressured because I think the roofing industry, Orca as an example, we've done a poor job of letting consumers know that there are a group of people out here that you don't have to play this game this way. There are a group of people out here who actually are going to educate and inform you about what might really be in your best interest. Okay, and there's a group of people out here who are going to do things the way they're supposed to be done. When we go out and I tell people, if somebody's knocking on your door, first of all, we have a little deal at McRoof that our clients, now 16 years worth of clients in Oklahoma City, there's a link that they can go into and they can print out a document to put on their front door and says, thanks for stopping by, but McRoof's got me covered. Okay. And that's what it is. And literally we'll have people who call, will you put a sign up just to keep everybody else away? It shouldn't be that way. When they knock on your door, the first thing you should ask them is, can I see your orange card? And if they look at you like you have 4 horns, then you've got somebody that you really don't need to carry that conversation any further. The orange card is the card from the Construction Industries Board. Every legitimate roofing contractor in the state has that. Okay. It has the name of the designated individual on there, and it has an expiration date on there. If you happen to get one of those people knocking on your door that actually shows you an orange card, excuse me just a second, I'll be right back. Walk around the corner, get your phone out, CIB roofers, okay, and click on it and see, are they still in good standing? Just because they gave you an orange card doesn't mean they're still in good standing. So that's number one. The second thing is that I think manufacturer's credentials are important. People should ask about manufacturer's credentials. People should ask for local references. People should ask about, Better Business Bureau ratings and things like that. Are you an accredited business in the Better Business Bureau? Ask your friends and neighbors for somebody that they know that they trust that's done work in your neighborhood on roofs just like yours. That's a good place to start.
Fortunately, after each storm, we hear stories, no matter how many times I get out there and say, do not write a check to someone that knocks on your door.
And they still do it.
Yeah, and well, we need half up front to go buy materials. And so I think just our advice is always don't do that. And then, as you said, references. Talk to your agent. Talk to people that you've known that have had their roofs replaced, and get some references and recommendations.
But I always tell people, don't get in a hurry. I mean, typically after most of our storms, there's not something that really requires immediate attention on the majority of roofs. There are a few roofs. You've got an active leak. You've got something needs to be touched up. You got a tree fell. You've got a little hole in your roof, something like, obviously those are emergency type repairs. Those need to be taken care of, but they don't need to be taken care of by one of these people that's knocking on your doors. Okay. But as far as what's going on in your roof, the games that are played, the contractors that are, I hate to say it, for lack of a better term, really, really proficient at playing that game, their whole deal is rushing to get you to sign on a piece of paper. And their whole deal is rushing to get you to file an insurance claim. Absolutely, absolutely don't fall into that trap. The first thing that has to be done is you have to have a qualified inspection. That's not a roofing salesman telling you need to file an insurance claim. That is someone that has credentials in the roof inspection industries and space who is qualified to tell you what the extent of the damage is. The other thing is my team, we can't advise someone or don't advise someone that we believe there's sufficient damage that would justify your filing an insurance claim until we have actually looked at their insurance contract. How can I tell someone to file a claim if I don't know that they've got a $15,000 deductible? How can I tell someone to file a claim when I don't know that they don't have ordinance or law coverage? How can I tell someone to file a claim when I don't know that they have an ACV policy instead of an RCV policy? So don't fall into that trap.
That's really, really good advice. Just recently when we had our storms come through, funny, but within my own neighborhood, I was going around, I drove our neighborhood looking at roofs because we didn't have major damage, but there were a number of places.
Right.
And I went and knocked on doors to just let them know, hey, just in case you didn't notice, you've got some shingles missing up here you're going to want. And the second piece of advice, I was like, go get an estimate, get a roofer over here to get an estimate what that's going to cost. Then talk to your agent, compare that with your policy. Don't file a claim. You don't need a claim filed that you then end up with a zero payment on. That is then on your record as well.
Well, and we've been on hundreds of roofs in the last 30 days for wind damage. And I just got to tell you, people, it takes a huge amount of wind damage to equal an insurance claim. Okay. Deductibles are high nowadays. Wind repairs are simple. Okay. They are not relatively expensive. Okay. They are simple to perform and they're not really expensive. And it takes a whole lot of wind damage on a roof to equal an insurance deductible. You got to have somebody out there who can tell you. Now, we have been on wind claim roofs that as a result of being on that roof to evaluate what their wind damage was, possibly there was hail damage from last fall. Okay. And in fact, they do need to file a claim, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, the wind claim, we tell everybody on everything, let us come look at it first. Let's make sure that you really do need to be filing an insurance claim, but wind in particular.